they follow metrics, and the only way you're gonna know where you're going is if you know what the metrics are, right? So what's really cool is she's building over the next 12 months this cool, amazing infrastructure, which is gonna make our world a lot easier. But right now, it's all being done by hand by about 4 people. This is one of the people right here that work their rears off, and we had conversations, and some of them pretty anal, Jesse, pretty anal. But you know what? It's okay, I love it.
Well, if you were operating on my heart, I'd hope you'd be very anal too.
Okay. Okay, yeah, okay, all right, very good, very good. So now, one thing you have to do then when you're talking, there we go, okay. So why don't you tell them what the existing criteria that got you in this room, and then we're gonna talk about what they're going to be moving forward, and there's a couple of things we wanna discuss quickly, because we want you guys, we want buy-in that makes the most sense, okay? So go ahead.
Absolutely. So these are based on our understanding, many conversations, and internally, and some of the things we'll go over are based on how we can report on them in our current state. So right now, whenever there's a meeting, we spend days, sometimes weeks, in pulling information because of how it's structured. So some of these are to make it easier so we can also not just let you know of where qualifications stand a week prior or the day prior, but at all times we can have an understanding of where you are. So if you want to know, we can tell you, and we can, publicize to your group exactly what's going on with your qualifications. So some of these are to make life a lot easier, not just for us, but also for you to know where you stand. So for global director and above meeting, our current qualification is if you've been global within the prior 12 months to an event. So there's no change, no modification for that. So as far as our discussions have gone, we think it makes sense to have for global and above meeting, as it stands, that if you've been global, qualify for 1 month in the past 12. Now for Team Global, currently, you would qualify, if you're new to get into Team Global, you would qualify as Global Director in rank, and by the 3rd month, need to be generating a minimum of group volume of 100,000, a monthly income of 10,000, have 2 letters of recommendation, and approved by the team. So the proposed change, you would do proposed for that, or okay, for continuing. So we'll do that's new, and for
let me do one thing first. So the other part is, because we're not going to go over everything today, we want more input. But one of the things we're going to do, we're going to shift the priority. We're either going to do 1 or 2 things. Either make more robust meetings for Team Global outside of the conventions and the major events, or we're going to expand, and so we'll have this meeting last longer, because we want to start getting you guys ready for really leadership. All right, so the Team Global meeting will expand, won't just be the first hour. We want to have a global meeting just to keep them in the game, so they move forward, but we're going to shift that. So that'll be one of the things we'll either decide, that post-conference in dialogue, but we're going to want to do that. So I just want to, so keep that in mind while Jesse's going over the new criteria.
Sure. So for new, we just went over that. To maintain a member of Team Global, the qualification currently stands as for 3 of any, so not 3 consecutive, but 3 of any of the prior 6 months to a meeting that you would have in that month be global, and then you'd also have 100 grand in volume and 10,000 in income. So the proposed change to that would be for new members to come on to Team Global. They qualify as Global Director for 3 consecutive months. So that's entrance, 3 consecutive months. And in each of those months, not the 3rd, but in each of those months, generate a minimum group volume of 150,000 GV, a monthly income of 10,000, and again the 2 letters and approved by the team. So the main difference here is the amount of group volume and that it's 3 consecutive. So instead of by the 3rd, it's 3 consecutive and it's 150. So those are the proposed changes for entrance into Team Global. To maintain qualification, still Global Director in any 3, so instead of consecutive, it's any 3 of the prior 12 months, but we're looking at as to keep it consecutive as 6 months. So that would be not changed, so still 6 months. And in each of those qualifying months, generate a minimum GV of 150 and a monthly income of 10,000. So the proposed change here would be the 150. So still, and also you wouldn't be consecutive, it'd be any 3 out of 6.
But you'd also have to have the 3
Makes sense.
criteria, right?
Right.
You want to make sure people stay solid. Yeah.
It does. That's what it's a typo because it shouldn't be less than it currently is, or more than it currently is. It would be the same, window.
Okay, so, is there anybody has any strong feelings one way or the other would like to? Yeah, Doug?
Doctor, I just wanted to say that in order to have 10,000 a month in income, your group volume has to be around 150 anyway.
That's correct.
So that's really
That's
not
why
a
we made the
change, it
adjustment,
makes
yeah,
more sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I'll credit Terry, who's meticulous in those areas, to point that out to us. So basically, it's really, exactly what Doug said, to really be at 10,000 a month, on average, you're gonna be around 150.
And I think the easiest way to simplify these criteria is that everything's the exact same for entrance to Team Global and to stay on Team Global. The only difference is that if you're new, it's 3 consecutive, and then to maintain, it's 3 rolling. So 3 consecutive gets you, into the room, and then 3 rolling out of 6, you stay. That's, to be very blunt. Yeah.
Is that okay? Everybody okay with that?
Sounds good.
Does everybody have any discussion? Go ahead.
Yep.
Go ahead, Greg. We have to get the microphone, please.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then grab the other one for Jesse, grab it.
I guess the question is how many of the current, or how much of the current membership would be excluded?
Well, you have 6 months, you have 6 months from now, to qualify for 3 months. Yeah, we're not looking at it from that vantage point, we're looking at it from, because this is what's gonna happen, I wanna say the other part. So not only are we gonna give you a lot more perks, and a lot more involvement, we're gonna be expecting a lot more, so we need to make sure the people that are on this team are rock solid, that their businesses are rock solid. So that's the other part, is because, it's really important, to make sure that the feedback we're getting for people that are active in the business. Does that make sense? Greg, go ahead.
So you're gonna change the way this is actually written and put in rolling, which would be consecutive, but
No, rolling, means
No,
any
so
3 to 6.
for new it's consecutive.
it's 3 in a row.
No, but not for continuing. It's the same as it is now. You have to be 3 months in a row to join, and then 3 out of 6 rolling.
So, but to clarify for you, rolling, we're saying
Yeah.
any 3 out of
6 months.
But we can clarify that. That makes sense. Ultimately, we really would want this to make absolute sense to anyone who would read it. So if there's something that doesn't, please let us
Yeah,
know, because of course
exactly.
interpretation is not what we want.
Right.
We want no interpretation. So we want it to be very clear for everyone, and also it needs to be very clear for how we program it, so we can tell you.
Yeah, Craig?
What are the reasons